It's unsolicited opinion time. Woo! Hi, puddle jumpers. Welcome back. This is my second video. Today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite book series, The Passage by Justin Cronin.
This man has something important to say!
It starts with The Passage, moves on to The 12, and the series completes with the City of Mirrors. It is quite possibly, it is my favorite book series. And one of the reasons for that is the final little bit of the final book has this piece that almost invites you to go back to the beginning of the series and reread it with fresh eyes. I got the idea to do YouTube videos on the books I read, basically from every other YouTuber out there, which makes me just run-of-the-mill regular guy. I wanted to talk about this one book that I find absolutely annoying and super cliche. But...
Thumper? Yes, Mama. What did your father tell you this morning?
maybe my second video shouldn't be kind of negative, so I'm talking about my favorite series. I will probably do another video on that abomination to sensible reading and sensible writing, but I didn't want everything to be negative for starting off this channel, and I wanted to talk about something positive. So,
accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative.
So I'm starting these unsolicited opinions with my favorite book series. Book series. The Passage Trilogy is super good. It's just amazing. The Passage Trilogy is kind of vampire apocalypse. Fox has just recently done an adaptation for the small screen that is not the same, but still very good. And I'll be talking about that in a minute. I'm not going to give spoilers at the beginning of this. I will probably at the end, but I will do this giant spoiler. But I'm not doing that yet. Don't stay. I was turned on to this series by a boy that I actually kind of fancied. I was visiting Bahrain, and I met this person in a bar, as you do, and we hit it off. And I was actually very hesitant to get the book at first because he really was not selling it well. I didn't even know that it was about vampires when he was talking to me. This is how bad he was selling it. Had he said it was about vampires and told me it wasn't about the shiny ones, I probably would have bought it. But the Bahraini was super cute. So I did get the book, and it gave me an excuse to talk to him. And we kind of were discussing this like this long distance relationship, him in Bahrain, me in Kuwait, and talking more often and all of this. And the book was kind of one of those things that was bringing us together. And it was something that I actually hoped that would continue and more would come from it. Plus, the first line is pretty intriguing. Before she became the girl from nowhere, the one who walked in, the first and last and only, who lived 1,000 years. She was just a little girl in Iowa named Amy Harper Belafonte. And then in the second paragraph, they mentioned something about To Kill a Mockingbird, which is a pretty good book in my opinion. I definitely liked reading about Scout, and Amy and Scout have actually quite a few similarities. I read the book, and we Skyped weekly in a semi-long distance relationship, talking about the book and life in general, what was going on in our immediate worlds and our families and all of that.
A fine romance with no kisses. A fine romance. friend. This is
Quickly, I overtook him in the reading, and I learned a little bit too much about the Bahraini guy's inner workings, his hopes, his fears, and some of the problems that he was going through emotionally and mentally with his family. And because I was gaining too much knowledge on his inner workings, my would-be deuteragonist just wasn't having it, and so
we should be like a couple of hot tomatoes, but you're as cold as yesterday's mashed potatoes.
the relationship kind of just fell apart. And luckily we were able to stay friends for a little bit, but we kind of have fallen out of contact, which is sad, but life happens and things move on. He basically turned this epic that I was working on in my head into flash fiction. Wah, wah. Funny enough, as the denouement was coming in our relationship, I was reading about the spread of the virus and all of that in this book series, and how the civilization was basically just crumbling at its feet. I think it's funny. It's probably not funny. I may be remembering it a little bit different because it does make a better story, but you know. This is not my first copy of the first book of the Passage. I actually had lent the first book to a kid that I was tutoring in Kuwait and never got it back, which isn't the end of the world. But that book that the Bahraini got me, it does have some emotional attachment, but it doesn't really matter. Things are just things. So it probably makes sense to talk about the actual book. The book, The Passage, follows a whole bunch of different people. The biggest pull for me in this book is actually the writing. Different characters are woven in and out of the story as they're necessary, and it's just... The series itself is super fun to read. It is highly engaging, multiple writing styles within it, like conference proceedings of all things, emails, first person, third person. You get different character perspectives at different times, and foreshadowing is a huge thing with this writer, and Cronin does a masterful job at it. I was super excited that it became a series, and if you haven't watched the series, and probably will, or if you haven't read the series and you might want to read the series, this may be a good time because I'm super excited about it, and so I can't help but probably spoil something. As of now, I'd like to kind of look at the book and some of the things that are going on in the series. And the very first thing, of course, is if you've read the book and you've watched the TV series, is Amy herself. She's a total badass in both of them, but in the book she takes a little bit more time to grow into her badassness. And Amy is probably one of the best protagonists I've ever read. She kicks ass, that's it. Like, she's fun to follow, she's personable, and you just love her. I'm not too thrilled with what they did with Amy's mother in the TV series, because in the book, Amy's mother's also a bit of a badass too. Like, she became a prostitute to try to support her daughter, and actually accidentally, or kind of on purpose, I don't know, stabbed some frat boys and, like, killed them to get away because they were gonna kill her. And that's when the story really takes off on Amy's part. Wolgast, he's also great in both. I like having Zach Morris as Wolgast. He's super pretty, but at the same time, he's a good actor, and a lot can be done with his character, and Zach Morris delivers. He's good. His AC Slater, though, I'm not a huge fan of him, but I also wasn't a huge fan of him in the book. The character's a bit of a dick. One major difference between the book and the TV series is Babcock. Well, actually, all of the 12 are in the book. They seem to all be men. They made several of them women in the TV series, including one of the main ones of book 1, Babcock. And I like that they're females because there are definitely female murderers and stuff like that. I am not too sure whether or not I like that Babcock is kind of innocent in the TV series. He's a true monster in the book. Like, straight on, the dreams that he makes his followers have are just sick. And having the very first viral that we encounter makes perfect sense. Having this character be a little bit more human and more a victim of circumstance, I'm not too sure of. I like monsters. I like the fact that there's monsters in the series. And so I like the fact that Carter in the series is our innocent person. Having more than one innocent viral makes things a little bit awkward. Unless Babcock in the series now gets pissed off and just starts running amok. Which is a possibility. We'll see what happens in the series. One major similarity between Lacey in the books and Lacey in the TV series is that she is a total badass. Lacey is super cool in both the TV series and the book. In the book, they made her a nun, and there's this entire scene where Amy's mom takes Amy to a nunnery and just leaves her there, like drops her off, and Lacey takes her to the zoo, and all of the animals like basically like worship her like she's some sort of second messiah or Saint Francis of Assisi. Like, it is a cool ass scene that didn't happen in the TV series. However, it is totally worth reading. I loved it. Having Lacey be still as devout and still as God-fearing is definitely a bonus, and I think it's very important to the character. I would like to know more of the backstory in the TV series that they are using for her, and I would be curious to know if any of it's the same. At this point, the TV series is right around the end of the first part of the book 1, and I am looking forward to meeting all of the characters that are coming up, and I am curious about how we're going to fight the virals, and I hope that they don't make the mistake of trying to make this a series that has no end, and that they just continue to get inspiration from the books and major plot points from the books. However, I do appreciate where they're going with a lot of the different characters. Yeah, no, I look forward to seeing how this unwinds. I highly recommend the book if you haven't read it, but you have watched the series. Don't think the book is better or the TV series is better. I think they're just different enough that they can both be fun. Like, I cannot not recommend this book. Like, I absolutely love it, and I am flabbergasted when people are like, I don't know if I like it. I'm like, shut the fuck up, just read the book. Those shiny ones can be kind of pretty. This series is super great, and it does kind of create this lovely little, oh, look at that. It doesn't matter. Who cares? I did meet somebody who was working with his publishing team in Australia when I was visiting there, and I wish I wasn't so drunk, because I would have gotten the opportunity to get a signed copy, all eyes, all of that. That would have been fun, but I didn't do it. It's fine. It's just an affront on reading. She was a whore. Is that a spoiler? That might be a spoiler.